I will never look at the 60s counterculture the same way after learning this. The 1960s were a time of radical change, a period when the youth of America sought to break free from the constraints of the past. The counterculture movement was all about peace, love, and harmony. It was a time when people believed in the power of love to change the world. But what happens when peace and love hide a facade of terror? When the very ideals that were supposed to bring people together are twisted into something dark and sinister? Charles Manson, icon of evil. His story begins with abandonment and juvenile delinquency, a prelude to a life that spiraled into chaos. Born to a 16-year-old mother who couldn't care for him, Manson spent his early years in and out of boys' homes and reform schools. His childhood was marked by neglect and abuse, setting the stage for the troubled life that lay ahead. In the late 1960s, Manson gathered a group of lost souls at Spahn Ranch, masking their darkness with a veneer of peace and love. These were young people who were searching for meaning, for a sense of belonging in a world that seemed increasingly chaotic. Manson offered them that sense of belonging, but at a terrible cost. Manson's grip on his followers, unfathomable. Using LSD and twisted philosophies, he bent their will, feeding them the nightmarish vision of helter-skelter, an apocalyptic race war. He convinced them that they were the chosen ones, destined to survive the coming chaos and rule the world. The power he wielded over them was absolute. They would do anything for him, even commit murder. The Tate LaBianca murders were the culmination of Manson's twisted vision. Brutal, senseless, chilling. The grisly scenes etched into America's collective memory. Sharon Tate, the LaBiancas, innocent lives extinguished in a frenzy of violence orchestrated by Manson's macabre influence. The trial? A media circus captivating the world. Manson and his followers were convicted, but the horror didn't end there. Recent revelations suggest more victims, further deepening the shadows of Manson's legacy. Charles Manson, a master of velvet glove manipulation, a man who wielded control with a sinister charm, leaving us to ponder, how can one person cast such a dark spell? This tale? It's a haunting reminder of the darkness lurking behind the mask of charisma. Evil, hidden in plain sight. So what lurks in the shadows of the human soul? The Spahn Ranch, a dilapidated movie set, became the headquarters for Manson and his so-called family. It was here that Manson's followers, many of them young women, lived under his control. They were isolated from the outside world, their minds warped by Manson's constant manipulation and the heavy use of drugs. Manson preached about an impending race war, which he called helter-skelter, a term he borrowed from a Beatles song. He claimed that the murders he ordered were necessary to incite this war, which he believed would lead to the downfall of society and the rise of his family as the new rulers. The followers of Charles Manson were not just mindless drones, they were individuals who had been systematically broken down and rebuilt in Manson's image. They were given new names, new identities, and a new purpose. They believed that they were part of something bigger than themselves, something that would change the world. But in reality, they were pawns in Manson's twisted game. The use of LSD was a key part of Manson's control. The drug altered their perceptions, making them more susceptible to his influence. He used it to break down their resistance, to make them more pliable, more willing to do his bidding. The Tate LaBianca murders were a turning point in American history. The brutality of the crimes shocked the nation and shattered the illusion of the peaceful 1960s. Sharon Tate, a rising star in Hollywood, was 8 months pregnant when she was brutally murdered along with 4 others in her home. The next night, Manson's followers struck again, killing Leno and Rosemary LaBianca in their home. The sheer senselessness of the murders, the random selection of the victims, and the gruesome nature of the crimes left an indelible mark on the American psyche. The trial that followed was a spectacle, with Manson and his followers displaying bizarre behavior in the courtroom, further cementing their infamy. The media coverage of the trial was unprecedented. Every detail was scrutinized, every moment captured on camera. The world watched as Manson carved an X into his forehead, later turning it into a swastika. His followers, equally devoted, mimicked his actions, showing their unwavering loyalty. The trial revealed the depths of Manson's control and the extent of his followers' indoctrination. They believed in him completely, even as they faced the death penalty. The conviction of Manson and his followers brought some closure, but the story was far from over. Over the years, new evidence has emerged, suggesting that there may have been more victims, more crimes that have yet to be uncovered. The legacy of Charles Manson is a dark one, a reminder of the potential for evil that exists within the human soul. He was a master manipulator, able to bend others to his will with a combination of charm, charisma, and fear. His story is a cautionary tale, a warning of what can happen when a person with a dark vision gains power over others. It forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about the nature of evil and the vulnerability of the human mind. How can one person cast such a dark spell? How can seemingly ordinary people be driven to commit such horrific acts? The story of Charles Manson and his family is a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind a charismatic facade. It shows us that evil can be hidden in plain sight, masked by a veneer of charm and charisma. It challenges us to look beyond the surface, to question what we see, and to be aware of the potential for manipulation. Manson's ability to control and manipulate his followers is a testament to the power of the human mind, both for good and for evil. It is a story that continues to captivate and horrify, a dark chapter in American history that will never be forgotten. So what lurks in the shadows of the human soul? The story of Charles Manson forces us to confront this question, to look into the darkness and see what lies within. It is a story that reminds us of the fragility of the human mind and the ease with which it can be twisted and corrupted. It is a story that will continue to haunt us, a chilling reminder of the potential for evil that exists within us all.